Hey guys, John here. I had someone in the comment section of one of my last videos ask me to make a video about the top worst problems I've had with my Veloster. So I figured, why not? I'll make it. I waited a couple months, but I'll make it. So with that being said, here are the top 5 worst problems that I've had with my 2013 Hyundai Veloster. Starting the list off at number 1, we have P2261, which is the check engine light code, and this one was just annoying to deal with. I had to go into forums and scour it. It was more of a headache than it was anything else. Digging through forums, trying to figure out what the problem was, only to find out that it was a blow-off valve solenoid. It's an electronic component that helps regulate the blow-off valve or something like that. I have a very limited understanding of what this part does. But I found someone who makes an aftermarket part, and they claimed to fix the check engine light. So I bought the part, installed it. It was fairly easy because I have an aftermarket intake, so I didn't have to remove all the old air box. I just had to remove like the cone filter off of my cold air intake. Yeah, I replaced the part and problem was gone. Now it runs fine. I've never had the check engine light come back on, and it used to be on and off constantly, getting in the way of inspections and all that. If you're interested in seeing that video and how to fix it, if you have that problem, I actually made a video on it. Link right up here, or down in the description. I don't know where it's gonna be yet. Coming in at number 2 is the recirc valve. This is the part that you could take off and replace with a blow-off valve, or like a hybrid blow-off valve. I think I have what's technically classified as a hybrid. Problem with this part is that it is a metal case with like a rubber diaphragm. The rubber diaphragm is known for just cracking and wearing down over time. When I was starting to have some problems with boost and stuff like that, I went in, took the part off, according to the forums. Yeah, sure enough, that rubber diaphragm had like 7 or 8 tears in it, I think it was. I had bought a turbo excess blow-off valve. I threw that part in. Not only is it more fun, because it sounds better, but I don't have problems with boost leakage and stuff like that, so that's cool. Problem number 3 that I faced. This one was kind of a big deal. I was driving with my son in the back seat. We had just gotten onto the highway. We were about to get in towards like the city. We were just about to go by the town that my parents live in. My son started throwing a fit, and I start to pull over onto the side and slow down, so I hit the brakes, and then I just lost all pressure in my brakes. All my brake fluid just went all over the road. I was trying to slow down, I couldn't, so I thankfully grabbed my e-brake, because it's a cable e-brake. For those of you who don't know, it's not connected to the hydraulic system, so it doesn't need brake fluid. Ripping my handbrake, slowing the car down, get it off to the shoulder, and my son's still screaming in the back seat, and I'm like, you need to calm down. I need to figure out what just happened. Pop my head underneath the car, and I just see brake fluid peeing out of the bottom of my car. I had to either call a tow truck or try and limp it through town because it was right at the off-ramp. So I did what any sane person would do, and I drove without brakes all the way through town, and I drive stick. This is a manual transmission, so downshifting, engine braking, and hand braking, made it all the way through town, parked it at my parents'. My wife came and picked me up. Next day, my brother showed up. We replaced the brake lines front to back in a matter of hours because he is like a magician. He's a wizard with cars. But yeah, that was kind of a big problem to have. But ever since then, it's been good. Now the reason why the brake lines just rotted out like that is that Hyundais and Kias apparently, unbeknownst to me, but my brother knew this because like I said, he's a car mechanic. He said that they have these plastic trays underneath the car. And if you live up north like I do, I live up in central New York, in the winter, the roads get salted all the time. And the salt will get up into that plastic tray and rot out your brake lines. I found that out the hard way. By the recommendation of my brother, he said, don't put that plastic tray on, leave it off so that you can go hit the car wash and actually get the salt cleaned off. So if you live up north, maybe you want to do that too. Problem number 4, this is a problem that I am just now facing. This is the reason why I have not lowered my car. This is the reason why I have not been buying fun bits, because I have to do a turbo replacement. Sure, it's not that expensive, but my turbo apparently started pissing oil out of the exhaust. Now I have to go and replace the whole turbo, and we're in the process of trying to buy a house, so going and dropping all the money on a turbo right now, and it's just not fun. I now have to have the problem of fixing my turbo, which it's molded into the exhaust manifold, which means you have to take off the whole exhaust manifold too. So that's going to be a whole task. This is dread on my face. I'm dreading having to do this. But yeah, so now I gotta go replace my turbo. And the reason why I put this on the list, even though it's not really a problem that I've had to take care of yet, it's a problem that I have right now. My car is eating oil. I cannot hit boost for fear of blowing the turbo up. Because right now, maybe it's just like a seal or a cracked housing or something. But if I hit boost, who knows what could happen right now. Apparently, Velosters are plagued with bad turbos. After I started having this problem, I went into the forums and I started looking through, and tons of people have had problems with their turbos before. So this is not like a one-off thing. This is pretty common. So that was it for number 4. Now number 5. This one is a little bit lighter of a problem. This one is more so cosmetic. It's just that the bumper sags. If you have to take off the bumper at one point or another, after you take off the bumper, it's just gonna sag. It's just a common problem of Velosters and many other cars. I know this isn't just a Veloster only thing. Had it off once to do the splitter. I had it off to do the recirc valve, that kind of stuff. Yeah, the bumper sag, it's a little annoying. It just looks really ugly. I haven't completely fixed it. There's a little bit of sag underneath the headlights. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there's a little bit of sag underneath, but it's not as bad as it was. What I did was I found a bar of steel in my parents' garage. I was like, hey, can I take this? And they said, yeah. So I just went, cut it down, drilled some holes in it, and then underneath the bumper, there's a couple points. You can go find it in forums. I might even stitch in like a little video right now of the different points of which I mounted it up to. It's just a couple pieces of steel, drill it into the bumper, kind of hold it up and forward so it doesn't sag down. Yeah, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It literally took me 20 minutes to cut and drill and measure everything properly, and then I had to sand everything down and paint it. So that's the top 5 worst problems I've had, but we're not done yet. I'm gonna give you a bonus one, because this is one that's been surfacing recently, my radio problems. My radio absolutely is one of the most annoying things to deal with. I don't know if there's too much draw on the battery, or if the radio itself is just crapping out, or like what it is. But the radio is just trashed right now. I barely even listen to music anymore. It just turns off randomly, won't turn back on, and then when it wakes up, it gives me like a radio will turn off after 10 minutes, or radio will turn off in 1 minute. There's times where it just will like connect to my phone on Bluetooth, but then never play any music. And I'm sitting there mashing the play button, connecting, disconnecting, reconnect, like all the things, and it just won't play any music. I don't know. It's another annoying problem. It was a bonus worthy mention for one of the worst problems, because it's just one of the ones that, like, you know, sure, my turbo's blowing, but if I could have Christmas music, at least I could be a little joyful, you know? That wraps up the video for the top 5 worst problems that I've had with my 2013 Hyundai Veloster.